So right ahead of the much anticipated Champions Trophy, there may seem to be some new guidelines in place when it comes to the men in blue for Team India to help increase or better their performance. Now, these possible new guidelines are mainly aimed at curbing the length of a time that a player's family or spouse is allowed to stay with the team for the tour. Now, these guidelines are an attempt to try and enhance the performances of the players after some recent test losses. First, a 3-0 series loss against New Zealand, which was followed by a 3-1 series defeat to Australia in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Let's get you as far as these possible new guidelines which are concerned, where it goes on to talk about how the wives of the players may not be now allowed to stay for the entirety of the tour, where families can now stay for a maximum 2 weeks if the team is going out on a 45-day international trip, and all of the players will have to commute by the team bus. They cannot use other means of transportation. It is not just the players. Even the support staff of some guidelines may say that they can only stay on a maximum of a term of 3 years. Now, let's in the meantime also talk about when it comes to, this is not the first time when the BCCI has tried to impose new guidelines on Team India. In the past as well, they have introduced a family period, which is similar to the new rule where the family can only stay for 45 days. But the old rule, however, did not fix a number of days, and that is always subject to change when it comes to the length of tour. The rule of wives staying only for a limited time carries over. But when it comes to the BCCI, even had to bring upon a rule to say that the families of the cricketers also will not be allowed to travel on team bus. This seems to be, when it comes to a bone of contention, exactly raising the question that when it comes to the presence of family or their wives actually depends on the player's performance or affects the player's performance. Joseph Hoover, who is the cricket writer, is joining us here on the broadcast, and so is Ranjit Bajaj, founder and director of Minerva Cricket Academy. Good afternoon to both of you. Joseph, what's your take? Having wives or family alongside, how does it affect a player's performance?
See, when you go on short tours and you have your families around, there's always the possibility of being disturbed. And some of the players don't like the wives or the children of other players being there, because I've seen this before. On a long tour, yes, as the BCCI has done a long tour, yes, you need some company out there because you feel lost out there because you're just playing cricket. It's just all about the game. So that was one consideration when the BCCI considered earlier. But now, after seeing what has happened in the last few months, I think the BCCI has done wise by having a discussion and also forming a resolution saying that these are the things that we need to follow. If you are on the Indian team, you need to follow these strictures, because you cannot have the wife of a player traveling in a team bus, which is not correct at all. Because when you're heading for a match, the team should be in one zone. They're all together going and entering the ground. They should have that. So that is a good move. Having the family off the bus is fantastic. So I think this is the way forward, and this should have been done earlier, because what's been happening in the past is some players think they can do what they want, whenever they want, they can dominate. This is not, so these are things which have been upsetting certain players.
So is families or having their wives together a distracting factor when it comes to the players' performances, Ranjit?
Ma'am, it depends. See, ma'am, this is a cycle we've been following for generations. BCCI has done this in the past. It happened the last time when it was the Tendulkar era, and that last before that it happened when it was the Azharuddin era, and the Sangeeta Bijlani thing was there, and she was always there. Ma'am, I've had the pleasure of and the honor of being appointed with the Indian team as their liaison officer for over 21 one-days and 7 test matches, and been through 4 different captains. After the match is over, then, having everybody travel back to the hotel together, there's no problem in that. Because the match is over, the boys have switched off, and they probably would have won or lost. Doesn't matter. You require family support to win, or to celebrate the win, or to probably take over the losses. But like Mr. Hoover says, when you're going for the match, it is imperative your only thought process is towards the match. And you have to be in the zone. In this kind of, when you're playing at that elite level, you have to be in the zone from the moment you leave the hotel, you're in the zone. You can't have any other distractions. You see great sportsmen not even talk to each other. They've got these headphones on because they've got their routine, which is there. That I get on the bus, I listen to these 10 songs, I get into the zone, I get off the bus, I put my bottles down. This is a routine. And when you have your family, that's the last thing you're thinking of. That is the routine. And you, not only, ma'am, if it's like Mr. Hoover says again, if it's a long tour, you really miss your home loved ones. And it's a kind of a punishment playing for the country because you are away for 2.5, 3 months. So maybe in the fag end of the tour, and that is a time when you need a little bit of inspiration and motivation. But going along for holidays like this, and
that's the point. I mean, that because Joseph, we've been also speaking to a lot of viewers, who have been weighing in. We've been seeing reactions coming in on social media. Many of them are saying that it should be taken as like a military exercise, especially when it comes to focusing. Our soldiers focus on country's safety, so they are there when it comes to remote locations, and they're completely focused on their goal, which is saving their motherland. So it should be also applied when it comes to your families are also concerned. But on the other hand, there are people who come out to say that family actually provides some kind of a grounding for the players so that they keep them grounded. So that is also a factor at play. We've been inviting our viewers there who are watching the broadcast live to share your point of view. I'm told that Balaji from Chennai is connected with us. Balaji, can you hear me? What do you have to say on this possible new guidelines that may be enforced?
No, ma'am. See, a lot of playing countries are there. They didn't bring the wife and all to when the match is going on. Even if Pakistan is playing or Afghanistan playing, they don't bring the wife and all anything, no? What you see, something is correct. After wife is stay for 10 days. That's good. It's not been wife and all. They have lots of conversation. They cannot play anything. Then how they can play? So they should not bring the wife and all for this. Wife should not become.
All right. We also have Ravi joining in from Bengaluru. Good afternoon, Ravi. What's your point of view?
Yeah, hi, good evening. Good afternoon. This is Ravi speaking from Bangalore.
Yes.
I would completely agree. In fact, I would go one step further and say not even that 10 days should be allowed because it is as good as any other job. I mean, I don't know why so much of leeway is given to cricketers. As it is, there's a lot of cushioning and a lot of facilities which are given to them. After all, a series might be a full-fledged series with 5 tests and 5 one-days might span across 1 or 1.5 months. And after that, they can go back to their
you're
home.
saying that no time at all, as far as when the series are over, they can fully focus on their wives, on their families. Thank you very much, Ravi. Quickly going across to our next viewer, Captain Jaspal. Good afternoon, sir. What do you have to say?
Good afternoon to you and your panel. You see, it is a very serious business now with the tons of money involved. It is a gentleman's game. Does any one of them look like a gentleman when they don't shave? They should only be allowed...
Well, shaving or not shaving, sir, I don't know if this is a part of their performance on how they perform with the game or with the ball. Of course, thank you very much, but you're entitled to your own point of view. Joseph, Ranjiv, thank you very much for joining in with your point of view as well. Of course, mixed reactions that have been coming in. We'll get you more on that heading into a short break.